Dan, See You Again is a horse who jumped back on board on Wednesday night. Went a really good race last time out. Looking forward to riding him again?
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to stick with him. Obviously, a horse showing some progression, which is good. Definitely his last start was a huge improvement on his first. So looking forward to reassociating with him at the Valley on Wednesday.
Tongue tie came off last time as well. I'm not sure. Well, obviously, you didn't ride him on debut, but I'm not sure what effect that possibly had. Barrier 11. How much trickier does that make things for you? Do you think around Happy Valley over a sprint trip?
Yeah, definitely tricky. Obviously, when the draws came out, it was a little disheartening. He began a little slow last start, but was able to recover into a reasonable position. But that was from a better gate. So his manners do need to be on point. Wednesday night, he needs to be a little sharper for me, and he needs to be on the job. So, however the race pans out, I'm still confident he can run well. He's shown that he can come from off the speed, and I'm sure that he could probably be used up a little bit should we need to. So, yeah, that's the only minor negative on the situation is the barrier, but a bit of a straight run down the back there. Hopefully, we can sort ourselves out into a reasonable position.
I guess a positive spin on it for sure is the fact that he's beaten a few of these last time as well. At least beat them home. So he certainly has the beating of one or two, if not three, in this.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you look at Scotch Tycoon's form, the horse that knocked him off last start. He had good consistent form in similar sort of races. So he was due. We were on the up, and like I said, my bloke's a nice type. He's got scope for improvement. He's got a terrific will. He wants to find a line, which is great, and hopefully he can bring that on Wednesday.
I mean, and just from the team's perspective, Dan, obviously, he trialled well leading up to both his run and the last start when you rode him. So I guess the team have always had a bit of an opinion about him.
Yeah, listen, Danny's doing a great job with his horses. It's the results there for everyone to see. Super consistent and running terrific. I think he's got a great shout in the Derby. So. That's always a good confidence booster for a jockey when the team's flying and when the team's going well. So you can have supreme confidence going to the race. The horse is in great order and prepared well.
David, Flaming Eagle is a 3-year-old newcomer for your stable, which you will introduce at Happy Valley. What more can you tell us about it?
Look, his couple of trials I thought were very good at the Valley, so that's why we've decided to go there. The horses hasn't really done much wrong. If he's got a weakness, he's a bit light on the feed bin. Hence, we've taken a bit of time from his last trial till now. But he's got a good gait. He'll take a reasonable, close, handy position, and he'll be competitive. And because he hasn't trialled for probably a month, he'll be improved by the run as well.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned obviously the time between trials. I think his last trial, the 22nd of January around Happy Valley, and obviously a win there prior. What's been the feedback from your riders, David? Blake Shin will take the ride. He's been riding a lot of gallops on him.
Yeah, Blake has been riding him, and he's quite impressed by him. Zach's done a lot of work on him as well. The race we'd planned to run him in was the week after. But we put him in to get a reserve class 4, so competitive to get in, and he got in. So Blake was lucky enough to pick up the ride because Zach had obligations on that day.
And just with your sort of crop of younger horses, David, obviously without wanting to put them into a hierarchy, is this guy one that you think is pretty smart in the making?
I think he is. Like he's not a nervous witness or a fantastic treasure, but I would say he'll have no trouble winning races in Hong Kong.
Ruan, Common Room is a horse that you're going to ride again at Happy Valley. He was very good last time out when you rode him.
Yes, Common Room we're running tomorrow, and I was happy with him because he did very nice running last time, and I believe he improved a lot, and he got a good gait. So I believe he can do nice performance again.
How has he felt since then, Ruan, in his gallops and so on? Has he felt like he's come on again for that run?
Yes, I did only one gallop after the race, but I felt him very nice. He beautiful act, shows more concentration, because last start is only second start for him, and I believe he's more confident this time.
I know you've only ridden him once, and that was at Happy Valley. But does he feel like a horse to you that is a typical Happy Valley type of horse?
Yeah, yes, I believe because he likes to stay midfield the race, and he can hit the line very strongly.
You mentioned the barrier Ruan, obviously barrier 5, so a good draw there for you and him. A couple of extra pounds to carry as well. Is that any concern for you at all?
I believe is the gate helped you a lot, because no need to force him there the stage. I just jump it nicely and try to get cover and wait for the straight.
Luke, Charizard is a horse that you know quite well. You'll be back on board him Wednesday night at Happy Valley. And a second start for Tony Millard.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good relationship, myself and Charizard. He's got a neat enough draw. He's got gate speed. There seems to be a bit of speed on the inside, so hopefully he can land up in a nice enough position and run another honest race.
You won on the horse, Luke, back in November. You actually had Zone D behind you on that occasion, so that form's working out quite well.
It is. That was a fairly strong race that he did win, and I believe he has come on since winning that. Obviously, the stable transfer is sort of changed the scenery to him, and his first run with Mr. Millard was quite good, and he's in his track work. He seems to have come on, and hopefully he shows it in his race.
Took a little while, Luke, for him to find the winner's box again, but on the pick of his form, off this mark still, you'd have to say he will be competitive once again, wouldn't he?
Yeah, look, in his past runs, he's shown that he is competitive off this mark. He's run good enough races, and he seems to be in a good space and doing well.
I guess the fact he's not big as well probably plays its part when he does creep up the ratings also.
Yeah, he's not an overly big horse, so I think when he does have to shoulder those heavier weights, it does become a bit more difficult to him. But look, he's been competitive off recent form, and hopefully he can be again.
And just on his recent trial, Luke, I mean, he trialled over what you'd think would be a slightly inadequate trip down the straight, but he seemed to do that quite well.
Yeah, I was happy with his trial. He hit the line strong. He was sort of full of running, hitting the line. He wasn't overly tested. I was happy with the way he tried, and hopefully, all's well leading up to the race.
Now, Luke, I'm not sure if you've got a nickname of sorts, but what about Long Shot Luke? How does that sit? Because some of your recent wins have been decent prices, but things are going great for you at the moment.
Yeah, thanks. They are. Like you said, they've been at long odds, but it's still great to get the winners home and pick up a bit of momentum.
I mean, always hard here, isn't it? Hong Kong, obviously, as you say, with the momentum. But some of those recent winners, Mission Bravo recently at nearly 80-1, Majestic Victory and Killer Instinct. So even though they are big prices, I mean, they all count. And I guess, if anything, it's testament to the fact that, you and the horse are working well together to get them home at those sort of odds.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's sort of, like you said, it's a very tough place to crack it. And I think when people can see that you're getting long shots home like that, and it wasn't just a once-off thing; it's happened 3 times now. Hopefully it starts to build up some trust, and you get a bit of faith putting you from the owners and trainers, and hopefully that picks up support.
Caspar Atomic Force is a fascinating newcomer to the racing scene here in Hong Kong. You're the man that's been charged with training him. What have you made of this smart 2-year-old from Europe?
Yeah, he's a lovely horse, Nick. He's still developing. I'm surprised he's done what he's done because, he's still got a ways to grow. And he looks like a horse that's going to just keep improving into his 3-year-old year.
What have you made of his trials and his track work, Caspar? Obviously, we know he's got that form on paper, which we'll get to shortly. But what have you made of him in regards to his homework leading up to his debut?
Yeah, he's done everything right. A little bit aggressive in the trials, but he wants to get on with it. His last trial for me was his best trial. He was a little bit more chilled out. And yesterday we took him at the 1800 and put him through the gates, and he was really good. So it's all just starting to come together. But as you know, these European horses, when they come to Hong Kong, most of them need a little bit of time. But this guy's got a big frame. He's developing into that frame, and he could be quite an exciting prospect for the stable going forward.
He certainly could be. Just talking of that aggression, I noticed that you've got a tongue tie on him for his first run here in Hong Kong. Just the thinking behind that, is that just to sort of harness what aggression he might have?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's like anything, it's different speeds in the UK over here in Hong Kong. Now we're taking him to the Valley for his first run. The race looked good. It's a race I picked for him for a long time out. It's an 85 to 60. So he just sneaks in there on a rating of 84. And gives him his chance to get to the races and see what we're dealing with going forward.
Obviously, you talk of his rating 84. He left the UK with an official rating of 114, so he's very highly rated. Obviously, a couple of wins in France, the Prix de Bois, which he won by 5 lengths, and the Prix Robert Papin, which he won at Group 2 level. I dare say you've watched those replays, if not once, but twice and a couple more times. What have you made of that form? I mean, just the way he was winning those races was very impressive.
Yeah, look, like I said, he's a lovely horse, and physically, when you see him tomorrow, you'll take to him because he's there, and like I said, he's keeping on developing, which is, for me as a trainer, that's exciting because we always have a starting point, but this type of horse, I can just see that there's something to work with going forward.
Yeah, excellent. Obviously, talking of working with horses going forward, a nice double on the weekend, headlined by Galaxy Witness. He's come out of the race okay?
He's come out of the race beautiful. Yeah, he goes up to Chung Fa again, and the plan will be to race him probably second week of April. Yeah, bring him back and run enough 1400 again, and just slowly progress him, get him through the ranks, and see how we go with him. He's potentially a top quality horse. He's doing everything the right way. He's just come out a little bit tardy from the gates on Sunday, but I think there were a couple of issues in that race which might have just caused that. But I think going forward, he's going to be fine. He's understanding what his job is, and he's certainly a force to be reckoned with for next season.
David, Nervous Witness is heading back to the Valley for another run around the city circuit. What did you and the team learn from last start with this exciting horse?
Look, his weakness is his willingness. He's very aggressive, and he just needs to come back 5%, 10% in his total attitude, and then he'll go from a mid-80 rating horse to a upper 100 horse. And from the run, he was very fresh going into it, but he's had the benefit of a run, a trial, a couple of steady pieces of work. I think he's a lot better this time than first up. Got a good gait, and if he can just give me that 5% relax pre-race and the early part of the race, he'll produce what he does in trials.
You've got Zach back on board. Talking of that recent trial, David, if we may just touch upon that, Zach rode him. You trialled him with a cross noseband on. He wears that. I imagine that's just an aid you want to try and use to harness him, harness the horse. Is that correct? Would that be right?
Yeah, I just feel that he's a little bit better in it. He comes back under the rider a bit more, and I know it's a helter-skelter at the Valley, but with his natural speed, I just think it'll make him more tractable, especially if he's going to make it as a really good horse. He's got to get 1200, and this relaxing factor is very important.
Talking of your riders, you can obviously correct me if I'm wrong on this, but do you keep the same rider on this horse, David, in the mornings? Yeah,
we do, unless Zach rides in. He tends to want to overdo it if you can't give him different riders all the time.
And just obviously the nature of this race, you're bringing him back into Class 3, which I'm sure will suit, and also Gate 3. So a couple of positives there.
Yeah, it's sort of Class 3.5, isn't it? It's a 85 rater, not an 80, which I think there should be more of. Probably selfishly speaking, but I've got about 4 81, 82 horses in the stable. And it was just nice to have that race there so I could run one of my horses in this race.
And just finally, David, obviously, I mean, I don't wish to put you on the spot, but just how frustrating has this horse been? Now, he's had a few people probably, maybe, knock him a little bit early in his career, but from a trainer's point of view, has he been a frustrating horse to just keep sort of the momentum up with, as it were?
Oh, look, he's, I take a boom horse on every time.
Yeah.
He hasn't lived up to his boom yet, but he's only had 5 races, and he's won 2 of them like a champion, and been credible, even though he was a short price favourite beaten. We don't frame the market. That's the public perception. He'll be favoured again, I think, tomorrow night. And I suppose if he's been a 5 starts favourite every time and won 3, it's not too bad.
And just in your mind, does he live up to that boom? I guess you're hoping he does, but he certainly hasn't gone just yet, has he?
Look, his first couple of runs, most definitely. He was outstanding. Seeing is believing. And then his last couple, I've been disappointed. More so because he was so short and got beat. No trainer likes to produce a $1.30 pop and get beat. But that's the nature of racing. And as I said earlier, trainers don't frame the market. I never had him as a $1.30 chance the other day. I was very worried going into it. Just at the odds, I thought he was more a $2.50 chance.